One of the biggest issues, I think, when it comes to setting up any kind of business or doing anything online or any kind of way to make money is basically being distracted from social media, right? So you probably had this before, and I've had it, where there's a moment where you'll just be kind of going through the motions of life. Maybe you're working on your business, working on your fitness, you've just got on self-improvement. This was me a few years ago. And then I'd have days where I'd feel really, really down. I'm really unmotivated, and I wasn't getting anywhere. I wasn't making any progress in my goals, wasn't making any progress in my business at the time, which was a print-on-demand business. There was a few times where I kind of caught myself just flicking between Instagram and YouTube, and then back to Snapchat, and then literally even my emails, going through my emails and then switching back to Instagram and then seeing a meme and then switching back to YouTube, and then within the same breath going straight back to Instagram. And this kind of switching between apps on my phone. And the next thing I'd know, 3 hours had gone by. I'd done nothing that I said I was going to do in that time. So if I said I'm going to work on my business, I'm going to go to the gym, whatever it is, I just hadn't done any of it. And especially at the start of my fitness journey, there was times where I'd be getting ready to go to the gym, get into my gym clothes, and I'd just sit on my bed and go on my phone. And then whilst I was on my phone for about 2 hours, I'd just be flicking between different apps on my phone. I was completely addicted to social media. And there's actually a name for this, and I only just recently sort of heard of it being called this, but I've known of this for a while. And it's actually called context switching. So if you don't know what context switching is, I'm going to teach you about context switching in this video. And I'm going to provide 8 tips scattered around in this video that I have put into place that have basically stopped me from being addicted to my phone and really helped me to avoid this thing of context switching. So first of all, what is context switching? I've already told you the story about me and my issues with context switching, which is caused by social media in my case, but it's actually a broader term for a lot of kind of distractions, and it's just your brain flicking between different things that it has to focus on. Let's say you've just finished work, you've just finished your 9-to-5 job, you come home, you think, I'm going to work on some business, I'm going to work on my YouTube channel, I'm going to edit some videos, I've got some videos I need to edit, or maybe you're going to work on your social media marketing business. I've got some emails I need to do, I've got some outreach I need to do, so I'm going to log onto my Outlook and I'm going to start writing some emails, right? So you sit down and you get ready, and the first thing you do is you get your coffee. So that's the first thing. You've sat down to do some work, that's what you said you're going to do, and you think, oh no, but before I start work, I've got to make a coffee. I've got to have a coffee next to me before I start work, right? This is what I'm like. And that's one bit of context switch, right? So your context in your brain, you focus on sending that email, right? And then the next thing, oh no, hang on, I need to make a coffee, right? You've been distracted and you're doing something else now. Your phone. Oh yeah, I'll just have my phone next to me on my desk. I'll just put it next to me, I'll just have it down next to me, just so, in case I get any messages or whatever, in case anyone tries to ring me, I'll put it next to me. Oh, and then someone messages you, right? So you've got a coffee, you put your phone next to you, and now you've got a notification, right? Get the notification. It's Instagram, it's Facebook, some social media. Oh, and then you flick from Instagram, you've looked at, your friend sent you a funny meme on Instagram, and now you've come off Instagram and you've gone straight, instinctively, you've swiped across from Instagram, you've gone straight to YouTube. And now 2 hours have gone by and you're just watching YouTube shorts for 2 hours. And in this time between all this different context, the coffee, the phone, the notification, the social media scrolling, between all this time, how much of this actual task in the middle, the task that you actually sat down to do, how much of that do you think you got done in that time? Probably none, probably very little. It's because of this thing of context switching. You see, we were switching quickly from different things that we're thinking about. It's the phone, it's the coffee, it's the notification, it's the YouTube, it's the distractions. And 3 hours later, no work done. So how do we actually avoid context switching? Let's get into the meat of this. And I want to give you guys some real value here on what's helped me to avoid this, because it's one of the biggest things that just cause procrastination. It's your phone, it's context switching. It's this inability to be able to focus on one thing. That is literally just what procrastination is. So the main thing to do is buy an egg timer, right? So you can get these super cheap, like your local supermarket or whatever. They're used for cooking, but you can use it for whatever, and set it to 90 minutes, right? And it'll count down. The reason you don't want to use your phone is because we've just discussed in the previous slide that you don't want your phone with you. You don't want your phone to send you that notification or anything like that. So the first tip is to get an egg timer and set it to 90 minutes. And the reason why we're going to set it to 90 minutes is because your brain actually works on a 90-minute cycle. And this is called your ultradian rhythm, right? So this is the 90-minute cycle that your brain kind of works on. And every 90 minutes, you'll have a burst of productivity and motivation, and it'll go back down, and then you'll have a burst again of productivity. So you want to kind of be doing something for at least 90 minutes so that you can sort of grab that burst of energy. Put your phone on airplane mode. All these guys who say, I've met them before, I've had friends before who say, I'm running some Instagram page. And I used to do this, my first ever kind of like business thing was I ran an Instagram page, and it was a car page. And working on your phone, you can only work on your phone if you've already got a business in place and you need to just like manage your team, right? High level guys work from the phone. You're not going to work for your phone. Like, you're not a trader. You're not going to get money from day trading on that. I've done that. I've done all that stuff. I swear to God, I've done Forex trading, working from my phone, and it doesn't work, right? You're not working from your phone. You're working from your laptop. You need a laptop, and that's where all your work's going to be done. Your phone is a huge, huge distraction. You do not want to be working on your phone. You want to make it as inaccessible as possible to be able to get onto your phone and start scrolling through apps. Because as we've just discussed, context switching is the worst thing. It's the biggest cause of procrastination. Don't allow any notifications to come through. If you have sat down to work, like I've sat down now to work, I've got 90 minutes before I want to be somewhere. So I've sat down to work and my phone's off, right? It's off and it's in the corner, and I'm not going to get any notifications. I'm not even going to get a call, right? I'm working right now, okay? And I've told people that before, right? Shut your door, tell your girlfriend, tell your flatmates, tell your parents, tell whatever it is, your friends, siblings, that you're working for 90 minutes or more preferably, and you don't want to be distracted, right? That's the third tip. Just tell them that, working right now, and you don't have to tell them what you're working on. Just say, please don't distract me for this time, okay? Until whatever time that you'll be free after that 90-minute work bout. If you're working online on the internet, so you're not like writing anything or whatever, you're working from emails or a browser, keep your browser super neat and tidy. Literally just have like what you are working on in your browser. Don't have a load of YouTube tabs open, don't have a load of search tabs open that can distract you and you start reading through things and all this. Just focus on your work, and usually you're probably only going to need like your emails open. Maybe for me, it's like my YouTube open for like my actual channel to upload stuff, and then like Loom for these recordings, and then like Canva for the presentations. I just have those 3 tabs open and nothing else, right? No other YouTube tabs, no music in the background, no Spotify tab. There's no like music playing, because again, music playing in the background whilst you're working, that's just context. That's like another thing your brain has to kind of process. You don't realize, but your brain has to process like music playing in the background. It sounds silly, but go to the toilet beforehand, right? And try not to drink too much fluids whilst you're working, because I've done this where I've just been, I've been really into my fitness and really into my fat loss recently. So obviously I've been drinking a lot of water to try and get rid of some excess water weight by being super hydrated. But the kind of trade-off of this is when I've been sitting down to work, every 20, 30 minutes I've been getting up to go to the toilet, and that just distracts you, because you get up, you go to the toilet, you might bump into your parents or whatever on the way, or if you live at home, or bump into your siblings, and you end up chatting and whatever it is, and then the next thing you know, 15 minutes has gone by, and then you sort of lost the flow. So you need to achieve deep work, right? This is the next tip. So you need to get into like a focused tunnel if you want to avoid context switching. So you're not bored, you're not feeling you need to go do something else, you're not feeling, you don't get disinterested in what you're doing. You need to get like really into what you're doing. And the way you do that is you need to get rid of your phone, like we spoke about. So if you can't help yourself, just remove your phone from your room, right? I've never done this, but Andrew Huberman's talked about this, where he's just taken his phone and literally put it in his car. I wouldn't recommend it, because obviously if you live in the UK, your phone might get fucking nicked. Don't eat too many carbs beforehand. This is the next tip. If you eat a lot of carbs at like lunchtime and stuff like that, like a lot of rice and stuff like that, you'll end up in a carb crash. This is where your insulin spikes and you end up in a carb crash, and it actually makes you super tired, and it releases serotonin, which is, I think, is the molecule that is it's like the opposite of dopamine essentially. So when your dopamine goes up, your serotonin also goes up, which makes you, it's the opposite effect of dopamine, right? It gets you into that state of calm and relaxation and tired. So the carbs will also further do that. So if you're going to do some work, best off eating some protein, maybe some veg and fruit beforehand, some like simple sugars, but avoid complex carbohydrates like pasta and rice before you decide to do some work. Save that for the evening. Remind yourself before you start, this is the next tip, remind yourself before you start what problems are you solving. So Alex Hormozi actually said this, and it's something that he does. Before he sits down to do something or decides to do some work, he thinks, what problems am I solving here? And most of the times when you ask yourself that question, you'll realize that what you're actually about to do isn't really a problem. I've done this before, for example, with this YouTube channel, where I've sat down and thought I'm going to do some work, and I've ended up spending about 2 hours just making like 3 thumbnails. Are the thumbnails a problem? I don't need to spend 3 hours on thumbnails. So if you sit down and think to yourself, what are the problems that I need to solve in my work here? What is it that I need to solve? It'll get you into this kind of mindset where you really start to prioritize tasks. Because the problem with me is I will sit down, for example, and think I've got about 5 videos I need to edit right now, but I know that I'm going on holiday in 2 days, right? So for me, the biggest problem is content, is videos, right? I can edit anytime. I can edit the videos anytime, but I can't film them anytime. Before I sat down to do this work bout, I had the decision of either editing or recording. And I decided recording was a much bigger problem than the editing. So that's why I'm recording right now. And that just helps you get into that kind of better like kind of prioritization mindset. Remember to write down the task list. So I've talked about this before, but get a scrap piece of paper and write down the task list. So for me, it's record and edit at least one video, so that I can, get ahead essentially and schedule out all my content. So that's the 2 task lists for me. So just keep it short and sweet, 2-3 check boxes, and in that 90 minutes or 2 hours or whatever it is you work in, try and tick those text boxes off. It's just going to help keep you on track. And the last tip I've got for you is get into a flow state. So once you've limited your distractions, you've got rid of your phone, you told your family and stuff not to distract you, and you've not, overhydrated yourself to the point where you're going to be going to the toilet every 10-15 minutes. It allows your brain to focus on one thing, and you'll enter a flow state, right? This is the kind of state that I get into. Like right now, I'm in a flow state with this video, so I'm literally just recording this video, and then I've got to record one straight after. I've got 2 videos I've got to record, so you'll just feel more creative, and your mind's less cluttered. When you can like declutter things from your mind, it just helps get you into that flow state where you can just get on with work, crack on. You get into that tunnel vision. When you get into this state, guys, when you get into this flow state, you can achieve weeks worth of work in hours. Swear to God. Like for me, if I want to upload a video every day, I need to record for a week. Let's say I need to record 7 videos. I can record 7 videos like this in a few hours. But the only way I can do this is from my flow state. If I'm procrastinating, if I'm distracted, whatever it is, I will not get that map done, right? And you will be surprised at how much you can get done in just a couple hours if you get into this flow state. If you limit all the distractions, you will be surprised. And then the last tip I've got for you is try, and this is up to you, but you can either have a deadline and try and, get something done before that deadline. Like I have a deadline right now. I've got a train to catch in an hour, so I need to get these 2 videos recorded. So you can have a deadline, or you maybe if the stress is there, maybe don't have a deadline, right? And maybe let yourself just, get into that workflow without having to stress out and like accelerate your work and like be distracted by the deadline. So it depends on the type of person you are. If you like working under pressure, a little bit like me, right now I'm like, oh shit, I've got to be somewhere, so I'm going to have to get these videos done. Like I quite like working under pressure. So this is helping me to get on with my work. But if you would be too distracted by that deadline, or maybe would not even bother working because you're scared of missing a certain deadline or whatever it is you need to go do, then maybe don't decide to work before that deadline, or maybe just avoid doing that other thing that you have a deadline for, if it's going out with friends or something. They're my tips for getting into a flow state. Either have like a pressure deadline or don't. And they're my 8 tips. I believe there's 8 of them. 8 tips in order to get into a flow state, limit distractions, and avoid context switching. Avoid this idea of switching from different things and different distractions and things on social media and your phone and drinks and coffee and Just getting into this flow state, this deep work mode, and you'll achieve a lot more, and it should help you avoid procrastination. So I hope you guys got some value out of this video. I hope it's helped you. Next time you go sit down to do some work, whatever it is working on, whatever business it is you're doing, please try and take some of these tips into consideration. I really think they'll help you. They've helped me a lot. Apart from that, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later.